for anybody joining. We are going to start in about a minute. I still have to set up my, what's it called? Windows. Yes. I have very good planning. So the internet window. You guys get to hear the behind the scenes of Dirk opening up his windows. The correct window has been opened and will be expanded. This is becoming like just a Dirk ASMR channel at this point, but hopefully you guys enjoy that. Come on. All right, here it is, the 1 minute mark. Welcome back, guys, gals, non-binary pals. Welcome, y'all. I'm Dirk the Red Panda, and this is the start of the Sweet 16 for the Best Girl Bracket. Yes, as this is the inaugural year for our second category, our second best category, Best Girl, we are gonna open the polls right, I don't know, in a bit. Maybe 2 minutes. I'm gonna change it to 1:15 Pacific Standard Time, and the polls will close at 1:14 Pacific Standard Time on Sunday. Just because I feel like it. Alright. So now that we have 2 minutes, I can hype this up as much as I can. Not a kid, but once I open up the polls, I will give a preview on what the matchups are as y'all get to vote. And yes, my Discord just told me I made a video. I wonder why. But nonetheless, we have under a minute before we open up the Sweet 16 for our March Madness bracket, Best Girl category. So I should just call it the Best Girl bracket. Yes, the Best Girl 2021 bracket is gonna open up in a minute. Oh my gosh, the texting is going wild. It's more than just my video announcement. Everybody's going wild. It's a big deal. And I guess I'm making this a tradition now, but I'm gonna be wearing my robe for opening up the polls, because I am the gate master, the gatekeeper, or whatever. I don't know. That, and I'm just really bad at waking up. Because finals suck. I'm in a weird quarter system with my college, so I have finals like in March and in June, so it's like, yeah, a nightmare. Most people would be having midterms around now. I already had those a month ago. It's just like you get thrown into the fire multiple times. But speaking of the fire, we are throwing our Best Girl candidates into the fire as we open up the polls. The responses have been opened, and I'm going to go to the description to give an announcement. Previewing the candidates. Or previewing the matches, I apologize. And as I do that, I am going to the Best Girl. Everything's going nuts. I cannot click on anything. Help. I'm trying to click on the poll link right now, but my Streamlabs be going crazy with scrolling up and down. It gets very scared when I scroll up and down. Thank you, Streamlabs, very nice. Alright. I am going to my YouTube live chat right now. Very slowly but steadily, I'm getting there. Because I can't open up the YouTube chat box in Streamlabs. It's weird. But for Twitch, I can. Anyway. To everybody who's here, welcome and thank you for joining. Here is the poll. It's in the description and it's also here. I will post it on Twitter and in Discord after this and the Best Boy bracket videos come out today. So, if you see the thumbnail, you get to see the preview art for it, which I can just pop up here yonder if I know how to open up my images. Currently, I have the best boy category still open in it, but luckily it's hidden, so no confusion going on here. This is the best girl video. Ladies first. Alright. I wonder if people... Oh wow, 2 people have already responded. Man, you people go really fast. Well, then again, there's only 8 matches as opposed to the best boy one having 16 for this coming round. So, I can see it being a little faster. But nonetheless, this is the top left corner of our bracket, the first region. With our overall #1 seed, it's Saya from Tennis Ace. And she will be going off against the number 16th seeded, won a heck of a tiebreaker, our first ever March Madness tiebreaker match. It's Selma from Ocean Avenue. So Saya and Selma, we have the S's, we got the alliteration going on there, are going to be facing off as our first match in the Region 1 in Sweet 16. But the winner of that match will face off the other half of the first region. It is the 9th seeded, in the left-hand corner, the Madame Dora. And going off against our 8th seed, Madame Dora will be facing the 8th seeded Artemai from Temptations Ballad. A brave knight warrior of some sorts. I unfortunately have not played the game yet myself, but I heard it's got D&D vibes and I'm loving it. I'm loving that vibe. I just need to watch somebody to catch up with it, because Lord knows I have my own series that I need to catch up on sometime today or tomorrow. But, you know, finals be like that for me when I get too busy. Fur facts. Nice. Well, if I want to give background on these characters, might as well do that with our preview. We'll go over to the match on the left here, Saya and Selma. If we want to give a good background on our best girls, Saya is our tennis star. She is not the tennis ace that the novel is based on, but in a sense, she is kind of a tennis ace in her own realm. She is one of the best in Japan. She is just quite the talented tennis player and is looking to go pro in the future with our MC, who is also in the running for that, but is not in the same #1 boat as her. But she is quite the motivator for him. She's got quite the work ethic, quite the stamina in terms of playing. She's got that well-rounded athleticism package. Meanwhile, Selma's also an athlete. She is an intercollegiate athlete representing San Vicente's women's soccer team. As if some of you have played the game so far, there's only 2 updates, but that is mentioned within my 2 updates. But yes, she is roommates with one of our men's volleyball players, Vic. And so, she's got quite her hands full with that, but they are both engineering majors. That is something I kind of briefly mentioned in it, so she's got the smarts with that. I forgot to mention Saya is also a, honors roll type of student too, so she's also got the smarts. We got 2 very intelligent young ladies going off against each other in our first matchup of Region 1. Yeah, man, it's tough to pick a waifu between these candidates, but I'll let y'all decide with your voting. But back to Selma. Selma is, yes, an intercollegiate athlete, so she's got her hands full with the soccer career. She's got her hands full with the engineering major. But she's also got quite the sass to her, especially around her roommate, Vic. They're just roommates, I swear. But are they? We'll find out. And there's also something about Saya's love life, which I will not spoil for anybody who hasn't played it. At least with Selma, it's kind of, you figure out the situation off the get-go, but with Saya, it's not really touched upon until much later in the VN, so. Saya has her own love life. You'll find out with who if you play Tennis Ace. But moving on from our first match of Region 1, our second match of Region 1 is Madame Dora, the the kind of the main organizer, the head honcho of our not ads, as we have a Smirnoff ad going in the background. I'll mute that for a second, but Madame Dora, speaking of alcohol and all that is unholy, Madame Dora kind of is the head of our kind of prostitute kind of house for the MC. She is, yep, one of those leaders of that all. But yeah, she does a great job head honchoing it all and making sure that things don't go too awry in the, I guess you could call it a brothel in a sense. I'm not too sure the exact terminology for it. Still early in the VN, so I'm terrible with naming things when it's the earliest parts of the VN. But that is Madame Dora, our head honcho lady, and one that is bold and in charge. She is facing off against our knight warrior in a sense of Temptation's Ballad. Artemai is supposedly quite brave and just courageous in her own right. I have not played the VN much myself, but from what snippets and anecdotes I hear of her, she is quite the person to not mess with, to say the least. So she's definitely got her set of skills. I'm not going to speak too much on the behalf of the novel itself. Decker Link is somebody who plays it, and they have a great series of it so far. So if you want to watch the Temptations Ballad characters and candidates in their element, I highly recommend Decker Link's channel. But yeah, I think their link is in the description. I have a couple of YouTube channels in the description in case you want to watch people play some of these VNs. Well, including myself, which all you have to do is just click my channel icon. But anyway, that concludes our Region 1 of the Sweet 16. This is 1/4 of the Sweet 16. We are going to move down to the bottom left corner of the Sweet 16, the other region. We go down to Region 4. As I slowly pull it up, or not so slowly, this is Region 4. So basically, Region 1 and Region 4 will intersect in the final four. So that's why I am going 1, 4, 3, 2 in that weird zigzaggy way. But nonetheless, this is the other part of the west half of the bracket. So the second half of the west half of the bracket. So in the top corner, the left-hand corner, our left matchup, in the 5th seed from extracurricular activities, quite the caretaker, quite the amazing woman who takes care of the homeless. It is the 5th seeded Maria from extracurricular activities. And she goes off against another Temptations Ballad character, our other of 2 female Temptations Ballad characters. She is, once again, I do not have much of a background. Watch Decker Link's channel to get a better description and feeling or vibe for this candidate and Artemai. But yeah, this is not Artemai. Did I mention that the previous Temptations Ballad character was named Artemai? But this is Ilya from Temptations Ballad. She's got some sass to her. She seems like she's some sort of, like, also in a sense, some sort of household type of vocation for her, but you do not want to mess with Ilya. Supposedly, she does something with a wine bottle, and gosh, from the anecdotes I've heard, she is quite the person not to mess with. Quite fearsome. Stands up for her people. Yes, Ilya versus Maria seems like a very hard choice. It would be really hard for me if I had played Temptations Ballad. Unfortunately, I cannot give much more of a description for Ilya, but from my experiences with Maria, yes, quite the caring and wholesome character, and yes, will definitely be supportive. They both seem like very supportive characters, so battle of the supportive female roles. But not in the way of being submissive. They both have their senses of standing up for their MCs and other characters of interest. And moving on to the other half of Region 4, the bottom left corner of the west half of the bracket. In the 13th seed, it is our intelligent librarian, our brainiac in a sense. It is Dahlia from the smoke room in the 13th seed. So she's on the left side of our right hand matchup. She sure knows her astronomy, to say the least, so she's got that in her books. And based on a Twitter tier maker, she is most likely to be Willy Wonka if we are going through the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory scenario. She's got the intelligence and wits to do it. And yeah, let's just say she's got the book smarts and can win you over with that. But she is facing off against another Echo Universe character. This character is our sole representative from the Echo Universe, or not Echo Universe, but from the actual Echo visual novel. It is Jenna from Echo. She is our 4th seed, and she's our psychology kind of expertise, our psychology expert. So while Dahlia has the scientific smarts, Jenna has the psychological smarts. So she is also kind of getting towards the end of her academic studies and is coming back to Echo for the spring break, but she has kind of moved on from the Echo life. She is just wanting to move on from that past, and you'll see more on how if you watch. I'm assuming Decker Link does it. I think maybe Lied does it. I only did Jenna's route for like a little bit before kind of getting too far behind, but yeah, definitely look up the Jenna route or play it yourself. She's quite an interesting character, but yes, it's up to you who of these two intelligent young ladies will move on to face our other Region 4 matchup. So while people say Ilya and Maria is a hard choice, which I bet it is if I knew Ilya better, I definitely, like, even then I'm like, just from anecdotes, I'm like, oof, I might have to vote for Ilya between the two, or Maria. Like, I don't want to swing any favors in one direction or another. That is a genuinely tough matchup. So if you want to have a Dirk opinion on who to vote for, I am not going to give that to you. Vote for yourself. But going back to our other match between Dahlia and Jenna, this one in my mind of my knowledge is going to be a really tough one. I have my opinion on who I'm going to vote for between the two. They both are solid candidates, but for me, one of them just tips the scales for me. And I'm not going to mention who, so you decide for yourself. But yes, both of these matchups I think are going to be pretty good. We could possibly see some Sweet 16 upsets here. Okay, Ilya just got introduced, so I wasn't too sure about that. Like, it seemed like Ilya was newer to the story, but I wasn't sure how new. But yeah, it seems like Ilya, from what I've previewed or seen of previews and clips and snippets from Decker Link's channel, Ilya definitely seems like somebody that's gonna make a presence in the future. But Maria already has that established presence, as a lot of people have played extracurricular activities and have gone through that. Sorry, I just keep bouncing back to the Maria-Ilya matchup. Like, I feel like the Echo Universe ones, the Echo and Smoke Room matchup with Dahlia and Jenna is just... I feel like a lot of people have already played those novels and really have a good grasp of those characters. Like, in a sense, both our underdogs were more recently introduced, while our favorites are the... from the get-go, beginning introduced characters. So basically it's long-time occurring characters versus our newer but also potentially powerful characters. Yes, Ilya badass though. That's what I'm hearing, and I stand that. Even though I have not played the game in full, I will stand a badass woman. Alright, enough of the west half of the bracket. We're going to move on to the east half of the bracket. We are going to go to the top right corner, Region 3. Who is Region 3, you ask? This is our Region 3. our top match, our left-hand corner matchup in Region 3. It is Verissa from Far Beyond the World, our shaman, our training to become the official shaman of our Avalon tribe. I am still terrible at getting the differences between like Avalon and the exact tribesman names of Far Beyond the World, but Verissa is our tribe's to be shaman. She is up and coming in that field, but don't let her youth fool you. She's got quite the wisdom, quite the tongue to her, and just, she is going to stand for what she believes. And for another person who stands for what she believes, we have our opponent of Verissa. It's Sep from the Hayseed Knight. She is our performer, but she is also somebody that is quite the thinker of her own. She's got quite the alluringness to her. She's also just somebody that I will say will just not take sass. She will not have any of it. So that's definitely the common theme between our Verissa-Sep matchup. They do not take any sass or feedback. It's been a while since I've played the Hayseed Knight, but I think I keep bombing Decker Link's channel in here to reference, but I think Decker actively plays Sandra's VN. Sandra MJ is the creator of the Hayseed Knight. So they are, yeah, that's their VN. But yeah, I think there are other people that play the Hayseed Knight more so in full. But yes, both VNs, definitely good ones to play. So this is another tough matchup for me in that I know both of the characters at least relatively well. But on the other half of the bracket, I do not know either of these candidates, unfortunately, so I cannot give any sort of favoritism towards one or the other to describe them. But in the right side of the bracket, the 11th seeded Karina from Santa Lucia goes off against the 6th seeded Ginny from Repeat. So I do not have really much of a sense for these characters. If the comments want to go off and give better descriptions than I am for these characters, feel free to go off. The more fan talk, the better. The more description of these characters. They're both from decently acclaimed VNs. Repeat very much so acclaimed in a sense. Santa Lucia definitely has the studio behind it, the Storm Singer Studios behind it. But yeah, they both have their solid backings. So I am not gonna go into too much detail with Karina and Ginny, unfortunately, because I do not have the best descriptions of them. But regarding our left-hand matchup, once again, it is Verissa versus Sep. Verissa from Far Beyond the World, Sep from the Hayseed Knight, both sole representatives of their VN in the Best Girl category. And so that is what we got. That is our Region 3, the top right-hand corner of the bracket. And now, are you ready for the conclusion of the Sweet 16 and the final region of the Sweet 16 Best Girl bracket? We go down to Region 2. And we start off with our left side. The left-hand corner, we have another Smoke Room candidate. It is the 7th seeded Cynthia. She is also a member of our, why do I keep getting so, like this when I mention the brothel, thingamajig that it is? The thing that Madame Dora leads. She is also a member of that workplace. But don't let that worrisome personality of me fool you, but because Cynthia is quite an awesome young lass. I think she also works at the bar itself, like, because it's also part of a bar. Yeah, things be interesting in Echo. But yes, she is also quite the, quite the helpful waitress and just genuinely looking out for our best concerns young woman. So Cynthia is quite a great supporting cast member to our MC, Samuel. And so, not Samuel from Repeat, Samuel from the Smoke Room. That's why I had to make the distinguishment for our best boys in the last video. But, yeah. Cynthia from the Smoke Room is going off against our tennis ace class rep. This is the MC's class rep. She's got the knowledge to her, but she's also got the sense for fashion. She has befriended quite the fashionista, but she herself is quite the sweet young woman in that she works for a candy shop. She's Ayako from Tennis Ace in the 10th seed. So Ayako is also going to be interesting in that she's also got her wits to her. She's also got her kind of way of supporting the MC. But I apologize for the ad coming on in the background. But yes, Ayako is definitely a great supporting cast member also. They're both kind of supporting cast members in a sense, Cynthia and Ayako, but both have very decent amount of screen time and roles in their VNs. Ayako does make sure to kind of keep the MC in check, and so does Cynthia. They are both good at vibe checking our characters. This is the battle of the vibe check, to say the least. A new song has come on, so now I will transition to the other half of Region 2, our final match of the Sweet 16. The final best girl matchup for this round. And for 2021's Sweet 16. In the left-hand corner, the 18th seed, our only upset of the best girl bracket so far. It is Zoe from Psychic Connections. And Zoe will be facing off against our second-seeded, well-acclaimed Adastra visual novel, well-beloved side/kind of main side character role, Virginia from Adastra. I was doing a really bad job of describing her. She is also the sister of our emperors-to-be. We start off the novel with basically the two brothers of Virginia fighting for the role of emperor. So I'll let you find out who wins out on that matchup of the battle for Adastran Emperor. But yes, Virginia is also quite a political figure in that she is vying for representation in a kind of advisory role. She's also not sure, it's definitely not a secretary role. I'm trying to think of what exactly she's trying to go for in terms of what her exact role is in Adastra, but she is going for that, like, kind of representative, kind of giving our emperors and all those characters the facts before they make their decisions. So she's got her place in the, let's just say, legislative and political bearings of Adastra and the intergalactic relations. But yes, fun fact, she is also good buddies with Neferu. But Zoe, I don't know too much other than she is our roommate, the MC's roommate for the VN, so she's got her ways of things. I do not know how exactly her personality fleshes out, but I'm assuming it's one for the best. And since she's a red panda, I mean, no favoritism here. So, you know, even though she is our only upset and our definite underdog in this matchup, don't let Zoe fool you. She's got her own set of goals and personalities and connections to the MC. Advisor to the Emperor. She is the assistant to the regional manager. Yes, she is the advisor to the Emperor. That is her role. I think no matter what she is, like, that's not really much of a spoiler. She is, I think, beforehand too. She is a very advisory type of candidate. And I'm assuming Zoe will do that in her own senses, so I will let the chat speak for Zoe. So, yeah. It's too bad to hear that you're at work again, Mario. Luckily, this is going to be kind of closing out the video for the best girl bracket, and it was just opening the polls, so no real results are coming in at this point. But yeah, I'll be opening up the best boy matchups in a bit after this video. So stay tuned for that when I open it. Alright, so half an hour has passed, and we have approximately 12 results for our Sweet 16 matchup so far. I am going to let y'all decide over the next 3 days. Oh, 13 now. But I'm going to let y'all decide over the next 3 days who will move on to the Elite 8 and have a chance at getting into our Final 4. This is big. We are down to 16 candidates in our Best Girl bracket. Our inaugural Best Girl bracket is hitting the main run. It's hitting the main stride. The matchups, the regionals, to get into the final matches. So that is where I'll leave y'all with this. So I'm going to move on to doing the Best Boy video. Stay tuned for that, as I'll do that immediately after this. End this stream, start that one. But that is all I have for the Sweet 16 matchups. In 3 days, I'll be presenting the results. So, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, take care, guys.